yet another new brand we found on Amazon, STX Audio, and this 1000 watt mini design Class D monoblock amplifier. Saw these and had to get one just so I could show it to you guys and find out what it's all about. So let's take it out of the box and see what we have. First up, we have the owner's manual, which covers 3 different models, the 1000, the 2000, and a 5-channel. Of course, we have the 1000 watt version. Comes with some mounting screws, so you can mount the amp nice and firm. Also has a couple screws here for the remote bass knob. Yes, it comes with a metal bass knob with a very nice potentiometer and has the phone style plug, so it will not come in and out of the amplifier. Stays connected nice and tight. Pretty impressive for an inexpensive amplifier, wouldn't you say? I would say, and I just said it. So what else do we have? Well, we have the amplifier itself. That's right. In this orange and black look. Very unique design. We like the way everything is on one end of the amplifier. And yeah, overall it looks pretty slick. And it's pretty small here. Here's everything that comes with it. And once again, not a bad little package here for an amplifier off Amazon. And this one, at the time of the video, was $89. I'll leave a link below so you can check it out and some of their other models as well. Who knows what the price will be when you watch this video. But if you check the reviews out, they are glowing. Everybody here gives it 5 stars almost. There's a few of them, though, that give 3, and so they're not sure about 1000 watt claim. And we got this other dude who's got this, I don't know, Chinese oscilloscope saying he measured 700 watts at 1 ohm, 12.8 volts.
This is not a Mickey Mouse program.
We will find out how close Dennis was to the actual power output when we measure this thing. But as far as ratings, even though it's a 1000 watt amp, it's rated 200 watts at 4 ohms, 400 at 2 ohms, or 600 watts RMS at 1 ohm. As for the dimensions, 6.8 inches on the long side, 4.8 inches for the width, and 2 inches for the height. Millimeter equivalents are there as well. As I stated before, everything being on one side of the amp for connections makes it very simple. First, you'll see the low pass filter, 50 Hz to 250 Hz. You'll see the variable bass boost, frequency, and boost, 40 Hz to 100 Hz, 0 to 15 dB. Also the gain control, 0.2 to 6 volts. We have standard RCA inputs because we do not expect Tiffany style inputs at a price like this. Also, we have the power and protect LEDs. And then beside that, we have the remote connection for the bass knob, which again is a phone style connector, RJ11 style. So it's nice, stays plugged into the amp. A little bit further down, we have the speaker outputs, only a single output. This is a monoblock amp. It doesn't have multiple jacks for multiple speakers, unfortunately. Also, we have the same size for the 12 volt, the remote, and the ground, all 8 gauge. You know how we need that 8 gauge remote. That's right. It's also important to note there is no fuse built into the amp. They do suggest a 40 amp inline fuse. We'll take note of that when we see the current pull, when we do the test. Speaking of the test, we have the amp here on the dyno. We have it hooked up. Let's fire up the SMD demonstrating amplifier dyno so we can check the power output of this amp. If you haven't seen these tests before, on the left, the power output in watts. In the middle, the ohm load. On the right, the voltage of the dyno. We'll also have the remote clamp so we can estimate this amplifier's efficiency. Since this is a monoblock amplifier, we are going to use the 40 Hz tone. At 4 ohms, it's rated 200 watts. They don't give a voltage, but we're going to assume 14.4. So let's try it certified to 1% distortion. As you can see, at 14.54, we get right over 200 watts, 204 at 14.54 volts. Let's reset the dyno here. Try it uncertified, which takes us up to the clipping point of the amplifier. We should get a little bit more power. And we do. 219, 14.48. Reset the dyno once more for the 4 ohm run here and try the dynamic pulse track here. 40 Hz sending a pulse tone into the amp, making it thump like your heart does when you watch these tests. 225 watts, 14.56. Big numbers, not so much. Let's move on to the 2 ohm test, rated 400 watts. Mono, again 40 Hz, certified test up to 1% distortion, and no, we did not make it. 326 at 14.38. That's not a good sign moving forward, my friends. Let's try it uncertified to clipping. Maybe we can get that 400 watts, even though the manual says less than 1% distortion. They're getting 400 watts. And nope. 365 voltage is 14.24, but even giving it another 0.2 volts is not going to give you that 400 watts. Dynamically though, however, we were able to get 400 watts. In fact, right at 400 watts, 403, but our voltage is a little higher there, 14.61. Now on to the 1 ohm test where it's rated 600 watts RMS, but it's a 1000 watt amp. Again, go figure that. Let's try it certified, 1% distortion, and nope, 437. But I hear you, I already hear you. You're saying that's only 14.22 volts, so let's jack it up. That's right, let's jack up that voltage to a higher voltage and try it again and see what we get here. Certified 1% distortion at 1 ohm, 469, so we're still quite a ways away, even at 14.58 volts. So no, my friends, this is not a 600 watt at 1 ohm amp, at least certified to 1% distortion. However, uncertified is still not there. 519 at 14 volts. But what about if we send the pulse track? Do you know that one, like a kick drum, kind of simulating music? Can it get 600 watts? And check this out. Yes, it actually can. It actually gets over 700 watts. 719, 732, 738, keeps going up. 744, 14.45. And here are the results, including the efficiency numbers at 8 ohms, 4 ohms, 2 ohm, and 1 ohm. Again, 2 ohms did not meet the rated power, 1 ohm didn't either, except for the burst mode. But let's hook it up to some subwoofers and see how it sounds with 5 different subwoofers. I have to admit, it didn't do a bad job of powering the 5 different subwoofers. Very unique setup there. Let's move on to the internals of this STX Audio 1000 watt mini amplifier. Take off 4 screws on the bottom, take the bottom panel off, and here you have it. Class D mini mono amplifier. There's a transformer there with some goop on it. We also have some capacitors here. Let's check out the power supply. 25 volt, 2200 microfarad. There are 3 of those cap tops. Also, we have cap top 50 volt, 3300 microfarad there on the rails. But notice the model number, 20Q5001. I wonder if this is really a 500 watt model amplifier. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to the pros and cons. Things we like: it's inexpensive, relatively. Has a small footprint. I love that all connections are on one side, makes it super easy to install. Bass remote is included, has a nice metal potentiometer. Turns very smoothly. I like that. Has bass frequency and boost, which is nice. Also, can it handle low impedances? We'll find out. Stick around to the end of the video. Next up, things could be better. It's overrated at 2 ohms and 1 ohm. No clip light on the remote. Has no RCA pass-through and no subsonic filter. Also, I didn't mention it here, but it has no contact information at all on the manual, on the box, or anything. So if you have an issue with this amp, I'm not sure who you contact. After 90 days with Amazon, you may be SOL. So anyway, what about these lower ohm tests that you promised us? Well, we're going to find out right now, so hold on to your hats.
What do you think, 40,000 watts? 40,000 at 0 ohm. 0.
We're going to work our way down, starting at 0.8. Not quite at 0, but let's find out what we get. Certified at 0.8, we get 478 watts. Certified with high voltage, 14.58. Next up, we'll try it uncertified to clipping. Can we bust 500 watts? And yes, we can. Look at this, 586, 14.5 volts. Next up, we'll try the dynamic burst at 0.8. Let's see what we get here, sending the pulse tone into the amp. And there you go, power's jumping up. Keeps going up. What is it going to end up at? 865 watts, 14.44.
40,000 at 0 ohm. 0.
As we get closer to 0, let's try 0.67 certified 1% distortion, 40 hertz, and 492 is when it craps out. So not quite 500 watts at 0.67. We'll try it uncertified up to the clipping point. Again, 0.67, which is a crazy load, especially being resistive load on an amplifier. 600 watts, 14.5 volts. What about dynamically at 0.67? Look at this, we're gonna bust 1,000? Yes, we do. 1,016 at 1,021, 14.58.
0 ohm. 0.
Yes, the big dummy tries half an ohm. We'll see what happens.
You big dummy.
Okay, we have fire, my friends. Let's unplug it.
I came, I saw, I got blowed up.
All right, I must agree that was pretty cool to see on camera, but you really can't fault the amplifier. It did not have overcurrent protection, which would have saved the power supply, which one of the MOSFETs here went up in smoke. Actually went up in blaze of glory. But overall, again, I wouldn't blame the amplifier. You won't be running it at half an ohm resistive anyway. But I did it just for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, Big D, I'm out of here.